YouTube, and I am sorry for my super long break. Turns out filming 50 parts for a YouTube Let's Play, it took considerably much more time than I thought it would. But hey, I'm back, I'm making videos, and we're starting off my annual Halo review. We did Halo 2 last year, so this year, Halo 3. Let's jump right into it.
So the game starts with the last one left off, with Master Chief falling to Earth? I guess? I don't know. So he lands in a forest, and then Sergeant Johnson comes over and unlocks his suit so he can freely move, and we're playing. And this is a pretty good first level. Now, I'm usually not too big of a fan of forest levels, but this one is set up pretty good. You blast brutes and grunts that are on the ground, and then you shoot the jackals out of the tree, which really helps me take care of my Marines. I don't know why, but I really enjoy micromanaging my Marines' weapon loadouts. You know, until we face a hunter who just kills all of them, or if this ODST just runs off with the rocket launcher.
Hey, Jeremy! If you're going to leave, you had better leave that rocket launcher here for your sister!
But yeah, each dead jackal means another one of my boys had a carbine. And after a while, this makes for a very capable team. Now, Halo 3 had a lot of innovations added in. The one that we see first is that every 10 minutes or so, they slow the game down to a halt while a vague vision at Cortana yells at you, and it's honestly one of the most unpleasant things in an otherwise stellar game. I'll touch on that a little bit later in the video, okay? But I like the rest of the level pretty well. For example, you go through and you see this brute who's just gonna eat this Marine. But if you shoot him before he kills the Marine, you can add that Marine to your crew. Look at that, I even got a carbine for him. Also, I gotta give major props to the voice acting. I mean, the Marines are pretty great, but I love the grunts. You know, when you kill one and then the other one's like, he was my brother. Which just makes me feel horrible. But the worst part is when I wiped out the entire group and all that's left is just one grunt in the fetal position just crying.
I don't want to die!
I just can't do it. I feel too many emotions. Arbiter, you kill him for me. Ah, there we go. Excellent.
Moving on. Now eventually you get out of the forest and we get to this area, and I love this area. First off, you see this pelican and it gets shot down. It's really cinematic. And then you can actually go to where the pelican landed and you grab some weapons. It adds a lot of depth. But this is where we get Halo 3's biggest gaming achievement. If you hop onto a turret, you can actually tear it off of its base like a baby chicken's head. Oh, no. You can tear it off like a soda tap. And then you can walk around with a minigun on your side, and you feel like Rambo while you're just mowing down these fools.
And this actually is like one of my biggest complaints about Halo 3, and that's that killing brutes is not as fun as killing elites. And I get that as a very, very minor point, but it's very different. I don't like shooting as much. I mean, they're basically the same. In fact, brutes are a little easier to kill. That's one thing I do like. Like once you blow off their armor, they'll like yell at you for a second, making it very easy to just line up a headshot and bam. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I don't like brutes.
But yeah, when we're fighting through the abandoned human structure, the game is so much better feeling. I blast through all the grunts, I save Sergeant Johnson, and then we watch a Phantom get destroyed and make our daring escape. So we go and get back to the base, and then we ask Admiral Hood what we should do next. And then the Prophet of Truth chimes in with his own idea. Fight to the death. And with that, the base is invaded with brutes and the bug dudes, and this is a fantastic level. It is so much fun to fight all these enemies when every single wall is stacked with the funnest weapons in the game. I'm talking battle rifles. I'm talking shotguns. And of course I'm talking about my favorite weapon in the game, dual SMGs. The level starts in the control room. Eventually you loop back around to see that they've set up a little present for the brutes since they kind of realize that this is a lost cause. But after you go and take out some jetpack brutes, Sergeant Johnson tells you that he kinda lost control of the control room and he needs me to go take it back so I can...
Someone set up us the bomb.
So I reactivate it and blast my way out of there as the timer counts down. But you see, I've played Undertale and that's caused me to develop a bit of a pacifistic side. You see, as I made my way to the elevator, these grunts weren't shooting at me, so I didn't shoot them either. So I went and I activated the elevator and then the bomb exploded. But I could clearly see this grunt who was completely unfazed by the blast, so it really took away from the powerful feeling I think that they were going for with the explosion. The next level was a vehicle level, and I had my choice of either a Warthog with a machine gun, or I could load 4 kids into the back of this Warthog for a fun-filled field trip. And that sounded very fun and pleasant. Seriously, 3 assault rifles will turn any enemy into a bullet-riddled corpse very quickly, and my passenger had a battle rifle for all the headshots he wanted. This setup was fun while it lasted. Unfortunately, Chief is the only character with regenerating health. And after a while, my baby birds started dropping out of the nest. This left me racked with guilt, so I jumped out of that Warthog, and I went and I hijacked one of the Brute's new vehicles, the Chopper. Called that because if anything gets stuck in that front wheel, it'll get chopped to bits. And it was fun to control. That front-facing gun felt so powerful and just tore through the enemies. However, at one point, the game wanted me to go back to an on-foot section. But you see, with all the fun that the Chopper was, and the ridiculous freedom of Halo's level design, I did find a way to bring the Chopper with me. Ha 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 ha! Chop, chop, and heathens drop! Now this is a bit of a theme for me. I spend way too much time trying to use vehicles in ways that the game really doesn't want me to. For example, later in the level, they got Wraiths. They don't want you in the Wraith. You shoot the Wraith's gonna explode. However, I did find that if you shoot the Wraith from very far away rather than close up, it's possible to kill the Brutes without ruining the Wraith. So with that knowledge in your head, guess what vehicle I finished the level in?
Get turned on, Brute Bags!
Unfortunately, the next level assumes that players finished in a Warthog and not a Wraith. So you walk through a factory and you're being backed up by Marines and the machine gun on the back of the hog, and it's pretty fun. But the job on this level is to blow up anti-aircraft Wraiths so that Admiral Hood can approach the level. So in the first area, we take a ghost, blow up an anti-aircraft Wraith, and then I got myself a Wraith. Unfortunately, the next door is way too small to let me bring it with me, and it would require way too much finagling to actually get the Wraith to come with me. But it's no big deal, because the next section, you get to pilot a mongoose, and your back seat has a rocket launcher that doesn't need to reload. With his help, I take down another 2 anti-aircraft Wraiths. But after I take them down, my next challenge is awesome. I need to fight a Scarab. Now, you may be wondering, how exactly does a mongoose take down a Scarab? Well, it comes down to Mr. Rocket Launcher on my back there. He goes and he shoots its legs, and eventually it falls to its knees. At this point, I need to climb onto the Scarab, tear off its machine gun, and take down all the people on it. Then I make my way to its core, shoot it, and then it's about to explode. Now at this point, they want you to run away like a little coward. But that brings me to another one of Halo 3's innovations. You see that right there? These are power-ups. They got things like bubble shields, gravity lifts, a lot of stuff. My current one, however, is a couple seconds of invincibility. So, rather than escape from the Scarab, I'm gonna wait until the very last second and then activate it like some sort of boss. Okay, now!
Oh, no, that's the flare!
Okay, so I destroy the core and then run like the wind. With my turret, of course. After that, there's only one more anti-aircraft gun to face. So I salvage a rocket launcher and give it to this engineer, and we shoot our way through the factory. And it's a ton of fun. I even found a couple of sniper rifles. And I probably have one of the best civilian militias this game has ever seen. I get to the gun and chuck a grenade into the hatch so that Admiral Hood can show up and shoot the Prophet's thing. Yeah, blow up that thing. That's certainly a thing that's getting blown up over there. After that's over, though, a ship infected with the Flood virus lands on the planet. Bad for the planet, fun for the player. I loved this level the most in the game. You have an overabundance of human weapons and you need to fight the Flood. I mean, just look at the screen right now. Can you imagine how thrilling this was for me to play? I have 2 SMGs, I'm backtracking while killing tons of the encroaching zombies. Honestly, I just need to include this in the video so I can have a living archive of one of the funnest moments I've ever had in a video game. The rest of the level doesn't really live up to that, but it's still fun killing zombies, though. After that, we break onto the ship and another innovation comes in. Because we no longer have Cortana breaking up the gameplay flow, we also have Gravemind! And all he does is just yell. Oh, that really hurt my throat. Yep, So I kill zombies, Gravemind yells at me, and then we go on to the Covenant ship and they have this little exchange.
You barely survived a small contamination.
And you, shipmaster, just glassed half a continent. Maybe the flood isn't all I should be worried about.
One single flood spore can destroy a species. Were it not for the Arbiter's Council, I would have glassed your entire planet.
The only reason I put that in the video is because even though I played this game years ago, it's what I remember most clearly. I don't know why, but the concept of glassing a continent is just really cool to me. Alright, so the last level was super fun, but it was about 1/3 as long as the others. And the next level was... It was longer than the others. But hey, I get to play as Mama Chief and take care of my little girls. I think they may have wanted me to be a sniper on this level because they gave me like 3 sniper rifles, but I made sure that each one of those made it into the hands of my children, and just look at that group. 3 sniper rifles backing me up, we got this. So we slaughter a bunch of brutes, and then we get some more soldier and an enemy prowler shows up. I quickly dispatch all the dudes inside of it, and now I've got the dream vehicle. We got a dude with a sniper rifle on the left. We got an ODST with a rocket launcher sitting in the right, and on the turret we have a very pretty lady just destroying everyone.
He's just killing them. Found the fracker.
Watch your language, young lady. I loved this setup. Even when they brought a scorpion tank later for us to use, I kept the prowler because it was amazing. However, the ODST did try and steal the rocket. No way, Jeremy. Remember what I told you at the beginning of the video? You gotta leave that for your sis. But eventually they made me leave the prowler behind so I could go through a building. But on the other side of the buildings was the scorpions, so I went ahead and finished the level off in one of those. We even killed another Scarab. However, this time I was well aware of what power-up I was holding, so I ran away from that thing after destroying it. And after that, we beat that level too. Well, on the next stage, we need to deactivate 3 spires so that we can lower a shield. So we land on the beach with some boys, and I give one of them my Spartan laser, and we easily tear through this first group of enemies, and then we come up on another vehicle section. And I was able to team up with my Spartan laser bro, and I love this. You see, the main reason I give all of my good weapons to the Marines is because they have unlimited ammo. They don't even need to reload them, honestly. On the last stage of the rocket launcher, bro, he fired that thing like non-stop. And now I've got Marine, who's using a weapon that the player needs to take down vehicles like wraiths. But since he doesn't have ammo limitations, he's using it to take down single grunts. It's awesome! So we fight our way into the spire, and I head up an elevator and kill a bunch of brutes. Then I deactivate the spire. Then I look out the window to see that the Arbiter has turned off his spire as well. And then we get a transmission from Sergeant Johnson. He's not doing so hot on turning off his spire, so the Arbiter and I need to go and help him. So I go down the elevator and head outside, and then one of the funnest vehicles in the game show up. Hornets. So I climb inside one, but then that Marine that I gave the Spartan laser to clings onto the side. So now, in addition to my powerful machine gun and heat-seeking missiles, every 10 seconds an instant death beam flies out and destroys something, and I don't even have to aim it. But eventually the fun does end when I get to the next tower and I'm forced to leave the Hornet. But now I have a whole new group of little girls to take care of. Elites. I like elites. Marines are a bit too timid. They won't pick up brute shots. But elites, on the other hand, will. And since I had to kill a bunch of brutes so I could land the Hornet, there were a bunch of brute shots on the grounds. I went and found every single elite a fancy brute shot. Except for the leader. I got him a fuel rod cannon. The shame about this whole situation, it was over almost instantly. I have a team of 8 dudes with explosives, and, you know, I probably spent more time scavenging for the guns than I actually spent with the group before I had to go leave them. I mean, we did fight some hunters, but they didn't really help with that fight. Alright guys, I'll distract them and you light them up with that armory I got for you. No? Okay then, I guess I'll fight them alone. Oh, thank you, Klaxar. Ah, you're the only one who helped me during this whole fight. Everyone give it up for Klaxar in the comments. Well, after I head upstairs, I get a little cutscene where a pelican flies through a window and the lady pops out and she needs to kill Sergeant Johnson because a human hand is needed to activate the rings. But before she does that, BLAM! Murdered. Oh no, not her! Arbiter, who is this chick again?
I believe she was in the second cutscene.
And here is where I want to say that the Halo trilogy is not a very good story. It's not even really comprehensible. I mean, when I was 14, 15, and 16, I played these games and I didn't get the story. I just chalked it up to me not being smart enough to grasp it. But now, as a 26-year-old, I feel bold enough to say, this is a lame story. It's poorly conveyed, and look at this. I can tell from the cinematography and the music that this is supposed to be an emotional gut punch to the player. But it's really not. They briefly showed her at the beginning of the game, and I get she was in the last two games, but only for a little bit. She has not had enough screen time or story impact for me to even care. As for the whole story, honestly, I don't know why I do any of these missions. I show up in a level, the game says shoot, and I go and do it. But honestly, Death Stars in space to kill organic matter, but being turned on by religious zealots, told through the context of shooting, is not a very good story. Halo ODST and Halo Reach, those are good stories. And the gameplay of shooting complements them. And I'll get to them eventually, but as for the Halo Trilogy story, not a fan. Unparalleled multiplayer, the best shooting mechanics on video game consoles, but a stupid story. Don't at me. If you're gonna leave a comment, it had better be praising Klaxar for being the gosh dang hero that he is. So anyway, the chick dies and then the aliens use Johnson's hand to power up the rings. And now the Flood, who kind of need all organic matter in the solar system to not be destroyed, team up with the Chief and Arbiter. Unfortunately, these little girls cannot be given the perfect weapon layouts, but they do have one main right hook. So we fight our way through all of the rooms, blast the brutes to smithereens, but as soon as I turn the halos off, the Flood break their alliance with us and try and kill us. And so now we need to fight our way back through the other rooms, killing all of the Flood on our way. Well, maybe. I think that's the intended way, but honestly, I just sprinted through them all.
It worked. Eventually.
Okay, so while the last Flood level was the best in the game, this one's the worst. And it's not just because this is the level with the most Cortana and Gravemind screaming at you. It's the enemies. Now, infection forms are a total joy to kill. Sometimes they're humans, sometimes they're elites who still have their shield generator. They're fun to fight. But Halo 3 introduced Shaping Sickness. These dudes can turn into one of three forms. The Stalkers, they look kind of like the things from The Quiet Place. They have moderate health and they're alright to fight. But they've also got a big boy form. They exist to stand there and die. I mean, on the next level they actually fought back and they do a ton of damage if they hit you, but on this level you have nothing but a sword weapon. So they just stand there and you can slash them before they even do anything. So the first two forms are kind of annoying because they offer no real threat, but the final dude, the turret form. These freaks climb onto a wall and just rain down spikes and are so hard to kill and they kill you so fast. If you've got a grenade, they're not that big of a problem, but still. Well, okay, they still are a pain to fight because the time it takes to locate the turret, line up the grenade, toss it, and then take cover, a single turret will whittle down almost all of your health. And if you got two shooting at you, you're screwed. Also, if you wasted all your grenades on the turret forms, you're also screwed! In this level, I found myself a carbine, and it took over 3 clips to kill one of these guys. I had to waste an entire, fully loaded, one of my favorite guns to kill 2 of them. Another thing that this level did is that while I was fighting all of the aliens, I had flashbacks of when Cortana first selected me. Let me reiterate that.
Without snapping the gameplay in two like a twig, Cortana's voice was able to convey information to the player.
Bungie! Why do you do these things to me? You knowingly put those awful moments into the game, and then you went and showed me that you really didn't need to? After that, I rescued Cortana. Oh, Cortana, it's like you never left me, because your annoying face kept making these weird slow-mo awful sequences! So after that, we set off a chain explosion to destroy this Flood Haven. And then the Arbiter comes to save me. Cortana's really happy to see that I'm trying to make new friends.
Wait, you two made nice? What else did you do while I was gone?
And then I try like 20 times to jump over this little hole so that I can try and fly as Banshee. But eventually I give up and we leave on the Pelican. Then we went to the final level. While we were walking, I saw this weird cavern, and I decided to go into it. And when I got to the end, I found a human skull. Okay, I don't think it's one of the game-changing skulls because I'm on heroic right now. And one more aside, I think that the heroic on Halo 3 was perfect. I felt super powerful, but I knew that recklessness would result in my death. It's really good. However, it's probably not perfect because I decided to be stupid and fight 400 Flood up this tower, and I did it exclusively beating the monsters to death with a human skull.
You know, like a well-balanced and adjusted human adult. Which I am.
But eventually I had to ditch it because Johnson wants to shoot the Halo. I don't really know why. Like, the whole point of Halo 1 was making sure that this installation didn't fire. But since it's kind of damaged right now, if it fires, that would destroy the ring, and Sparky's job is to make sure the ring doesn't get destroyed, so he kind of murders Johnson. Dang it, Guilty Spark 343! Why'd you do this? And this. And this, too. Wait, hold on, is the 5th installment rated T? Oh my gosh, you idiots. So now I pick up Sergeant Johnson's Spartan Laser and shoot Guilty Spark 3 times. What an epic final boss battle you got here. Another aside, Bungie is really proud of the fact that you shoot Guilty Spark instead of him dying in a cutscene. And they were really conflicted on this. It's like, oh, do we have him die in a really cool custom cutscene? Or do we let the player shoot him? Why not have the player get the pleasure of doing a bunch of damage and then a cool custom cutscene? Or a cool cutscene that ends with a button prompt. I would have been really satisfied if Chief had beat the stuffing out of Guilty Spark, cracked the eye, and then he shoved a pistol right up into his stupid face, and then you let me pull the right trigger to put a bullet into his critical circuitry. But nope, underwhelming cutscene. That's just so easy. Like, honestly, those turrets from the last level, one of those was harder than Guilty Spark. And then I have some final words with Johnson. And now this is how you kill a character. Comic Relief, who's fought alongside you for 3 games. This is emotional. I mean, it's really dumb that that ball that posed no threat to me is what ended him, but hey, it has some emotional weight. Now we need to escape the Halo as it prepares to fire that final beam. In an awesome driving sequence. I mean, you can't end a Halo game without an awesome driving sequence. Oh, yeah, that's cool! Okay, what the heck just happened to my character? Man, you know what? Forget this. I'm gonna hoof it like Raw intended. Raw, why have you forsaken me? Okay, now we go for the final jump and I bail. Yeah, it's okay. I made it. The final cutscene has Arbiter-in-Chief scrambling to survive while jumping into space, and they do. And let me be honest, dodging tanks and other debris would have been actually really fun to control Chief during. But no, man. You get to control the underwhelming boss fight. But it's okay. Somebody on Halo Reach made a custom map that actually lets me live that fantasy. Oh, that was bad. Oh, yeah! Oh, come on! And then, even though Arbiter and Chief were in the same hangar, I guess Chief died? Well, I don't know. The Arbiter lived. See, this is the final cutscene right here. And Arbiter's here at the memorial. And 117 is scratched in the memorial because that's Master Chief. Whatever. But here he is in the post-credit scenes. He survives, and he decides to go into the cryogenic chamber, just in case humanity ever needs him again. Hey, Cortana, how about you put some nanobots inside with him so that you can change his suit design and give the worst explanation I've ever heard in my life? Or better yet, pull the plug so he won't be associated with any of the sequels.
So, that is Halo 3. And now, I know that I just use a lot of language and was very critical of the game. You must think, oh man, this guy hates it. You couldn't be further from the truth. I bought this. I've got 2 Xbox 360s that are Halo themed. I love the games. It's because I have played them so much that I can find all those little things to nitpick. But ultimately, it is so much fun. The shooting's great, and the multiplayer, unparalleled. I have put countless hours into the multiplayer, and I really do love the Halo series. And, you know, that's why I'm going to be doing reviews of the Halo series for the next 3 years. That's how many good Halo games are left. But yeah, if I pissed you off with everything that I said, you're going to want to go ahead and hit that dislike button. You're also going to want to double check to make sure you're not subscribed because I've got a lot more videos planned. But if you did like it, well, I will see you on that next video.